when you're doing your guard passes, I want you to think about the major things that happen before you get to strong body contact. So before we're ever locked up like this, there are objectives that I have that if I can accomplish them even a little bit, by the time we make contact, I'm gonna be ahead of him, okay? And those are gonna be angle, grip, angle, distance, and level. So angle just being, what is our center line's relationship to each other? Right now it's alignment. Here, I formed an angle on him, but he has not formed an angle on me. His center line is facing empty space, and my center line faces him, okay? This is not angle. My center line faces empty space, and so does his, okay? Angle is when my center line, or his center line, faces him, and his center line faces nothing. So I have angle on him. My center line faces him, and his faces nothing. Okay? Distance is how far is my head from his head, and who's managing that distance? Who's deciding how far apart they are? If I'm in control of distance, I can bring his head closer to mine, and I can bring my head closer to his. Vice versa, if he's bringing my head down and I can't do anything to stop him, he's controlling distance. So I want to control distance so that as I move to pass his guard, my head can freely get closer to his, and his cannot move away from me. Okay, that's controlling distance. So we've got angle, we've got distance, and then we've got level, which is how high is my hip from the ground. At some point in a guard pass, I have to change levels in order to pin him. Some guard passes change levels at the very end. So in a bullfighter pass, I stay up on my feet until we get to the very last stage of the guard pass and I come down. That's what makes a bullfighter pass hard, is the level change at the end to go and control the head. Other guard passes change levels almost immediately. Things like body lock passes and half guard passes, where I change levels first. The problem now is if my alignment with him, the way our legs are entangled, if some of this doesn't work out in my favor, because there's so much body contact, it can be hard for me to change that. So generally, when we're very close and I change level early, I'll want to come up and control his head and shoulders in some significant way so that this body contact works out for me and doesn't work out for him. Okay, so in any guard pass, the first thing that's going to happen is some battle for grip, distance, angle, and level. Okay, and so what we were talking about with body locks are, how am I going to get an angle on a guy when I'm down on my knees like this? If I'm up on my feet, it's easy to circle on like this and circle straight in, but I'm down on my knees. So the way we do this is we body lock the guy, and it's a body lock, and we've got to expose the waist. We can do it here at the knee. When he comes back, there's the waist. We can do it off of a collar tie. When he comes back, there's the waist. However it happens, once you get to the waist, you want to bring their hips and tailbone underneath you as much as you can, and then you want to crowd them here. Now I'm underneath his back now, so what I'll do is shift and bring everything long, short on one side. Now what we were working on, Tito, was to take this grip and either go inside the thigh and step over it, or to go to the front of the thigh if you pull your knee to your chest. And when they pull knee to chest, it's a circle away from it and step over. Or failing that, if you're framing on me, here, push up, like this. He's trying to push me into alignment with him, and he's got to use his right, push on, and he's going to start using his legs, really push, like you want to get out of here. So from here, all I got to do is keep his right knee pinned to the floor, and that all fades. And now I can pummel out. My knees go under his tailbone, and then we settle in. From the pin here, I want to come up with my knee in his armpit, my hand to his chest, and I start going down the crossface road, trying to get my elbow under his head. If I get a sense that he's blocking that for any reason, I fork down the other way to reverse crossface, upper 45, and my elbow blocking the hip.
Yeah. Those are great details. Those three finishes are going to really work for me. I can tell. So yeah, forearm to step over the knee, elbow in front of the knee, walk my hips to the left so I can step my knee over, and then if he's really pushing hard and I can feel his right leg pushing into me, I can snatch the right side.
Yeah, on that last one, the most important part is don't drift. When you change sides, when you pin the knee, keep your head going across.
Okay, yep.
A couple other things while you're filming. Or what we did today, when you guys practice pilates, if I come in, I would drill like this. Stepping back here, put your hand on the far side of their head. Now Now my left hand finds his knee and I pull it while I sit on him. I'm gonna bring my outside leg in so that my legs are wedged around his leg. From here, I'm gonna gather up his leg and I'm gonna go down to my shoulder so I'm across his line, okay? At this point, I have a bunch of attacks. I have a toe hold on his bottom leg, here. When he goes to extend his leg here, if his leg's out, if I'm going for a toe hold on this leg and he goes to cross them here, I can go for this toe hold on the top leg. When he goes to extend the top leg, I'm gonna bring it to me, I V grip, I pass it through, and I have a lat knee bar here. I pull my heels to my butt, my top knee goes towards my bottom knee, and we get a nice knee bar finish. When I'm going for toe hold and knee bar, he'll start crossing his legs together, and whichever leg is on top is the easiest one to entangle, or unentangle, sorry. So I attack his top leg with the toe hold, he goes to free it. I bring his second leg in, if that was on top, I go to attack his top leg. If he goes to extend it, V grip, pass it behind, lat knee bar, he goes to cross his legs. Whichever foot is on top, that's the one I attack. When he goes to cross, whichever leg is on top, that's the one that I attack. Or you pass it off for the knee bar. That's a very good alternative to what we were doing today, because all of those leg locks are legal in IBJJF for purple and brown. Brown, I think, old. Whereas the heel hooks are never going to be legal. There was one of that came to mind for you guys specifically. Oh, this one. Practice this as well. Come in like we did today, looking for the ribs and the elbow knee connection and pushing down on the leg. What you want to do is push this leg down so that this knee collides with your forearm out like this. So what I want to do is walk perpendicular to him and get my head lower than his knee. Because when my head's lower than his knee, this outside leg is not going to pommel onto me. Now I run his bottom leg until it separates from his knee. I put my shoulder on his hip and I put my left knee down on the ground. So I'm in a left-sided hip now. Okay, from this position, he's sort of compromised because he can go the direction I'm turning him, which is not so great. He's going to get his back. Or what's probably going to happen is his near leg, his right leg, is going to try to elbow knee escape. And I'm going to catch and wedge under his knee with my knee, just like we practiced in class. And then we can go through and create a pin. So that move we had here, just like the cross knee where we came in to the knees, except this time we don't quite come into the knees, we keep our legs at longer range. I start walking perpendicular and I get my head below his knee. Now I clear his leg, I put my shoulder down on him, or right on his hip, and my left knee down to the floor. The goal here is to pull with my right as I drive with my left. So Tito will tell you that he feels a pressure turning his belly down right now. And then if he tried to flatten out, it would be tough to do. Okay? If I were here and he tried to flatten out, it's the easiest thing in the world. So my shoulder, the rounded part of my shoulder has to find the rounded part of his hip. And we can go through, we can get a trap grip, and we can use that to create turning pressure as we go through. We either lock up our seatbelt or our gift wrap, bring everything in and finish. That's probably the the simplest but best basic guard pass. It's a modified bullfighter with a hip and knee post. So we'll throw those into the reference and I'll have you guys draw that later.
Perfect.
Make sense?
Yeah, definitely.